Hello and welcome to Nat Chat. I'm Mirella Rich. Today our guest is Jeffrey Belville, who is a retired pharmacist and is now raising awareness and help to raise money in the Philippines. The poverty there is quite devastating at the moment and he's trying to help out. Welcome to the program.
Nice to meet up with you again.
It's good to have you back. And you're trying to help out with the situation there because there's a dire need of people are living literally in shacks over there. Can you tell us what is happening? There's a film happening as well right now, a documentary that you've commissioned to be shown at all the churches and parishes here in Australia.
Yes, I guess following on the first occasion that I visited, and we took some photos. We also visited the city of Tacloban, which was the scene of the hurricane that resulted in the death of 12,000 Philippine people. That was the area where MacArthur actually left, but he returned to Corregidor, Corregidor, I should say. So that was. And we did a bit of filming, but it was very amateurish, but I saw the need sort of thing for it. So this time we've been able to commission a documentary. At the moment it's just a sort of in its infancy, and hopefully we'll be able to produce 2 DVDs of one of about 2 or 3 minutes and the other one about 10 minutes, so that we'll be able to take that to those that may well be interested, that hopefully one can travel with that to show them the actual conditions of and the level of suffering, but also to show them the people that are doing things there, which is most uplifting, that many of the Philippine people themselves have sacrificed their lives to help others, and in particular Joe Dean with the Street Children has given his life and also his wife Ardis to taking these children from very basic levels to give them some hope.
Yeah.
And that's being achieved. So I think that's where that documentary is going to be awfully important, that it'll show the Street Children, it'll show the people of Patayas, a particular town there that was built on a tip, in which we're looking to try and raise as much as $200,000 to initially get really going there with help, with food, with medicine, with education. So there's a lot to be done, enormous amount. There is no lack of the poor or the needy. So
it's interesting as well because, you know, we can suffer in silence, like each person can suffer in silence. Like these people, they're probably suffering in silence, but the only thing that would be helping them is their faith. That would give them their love and their hope.
Yes.
And it's like each one of us suffers in the world. Every single
Yes.
person has suffering.
Yes.
But the only thing that can give us love and hope is our faith.
Right.
Really, and that is the most important thing. So to nurture that
Yes. Yes.
is the most powerful thing.
Yeah. It can be a two-sided thing, because I sometimes think that we, when you look at a lot of the villages and the children, there's almost a Christian acceptance in a society where there's a lot of injustice. So you've got those two things, and I don't think it's wrong that people should be, pushed down all the time. Even though when you go into the villages and you spend time with the children and they're running around and they're happy and gay sort of thing, I don't think they realise how suppressed they are. They know nothing else, but they are. There is this huge imbalance where they're not given the opportunities that we are in Western society sort of thing.
Which is sad when you see that there are wealthy people. You wonder what's going on in their hearts and their souls, that they can feel at peace somehow with all the wealth and then just look at all this poverty around them, and that other people from other countries have to come in and help them.
Yeah.
It kind of doesn't make much sense. So there must be some sort of...
Well, there are those people, Marilla, I think, that they think that life is just here and now, nothing else, and we grab what we can and we use what we can, and we don't worry about the other person. And I'm sure that Christ and the apostles and all that was saying, you've got to give of yourself, all right? This is one of your prime functions, all right? This is the opportunity that you have in life, that you're here to love one another. And that means giving of yourself. And if we haven't got the greatest of examples, then it's Christ gave of himself. And in that same sense, that's what I feel, sort of thing, that we need to give of ourselves so that others can benefit. It's not easy. I think we tend to all be a bit selfish and we look after ourselves, and the worldly things of this world are terribly important. It is not easy. So when you come across people such as Jodine Solo and Father Paul and there's quite a few others that basically have given their lives, for the benefit of these others, then I think you are truly moved. And I'm hopeful that the documentary will show, exactly what these people are doing and the outcomes and the difference. And if we can take a child, a boy, a girl from the streets, and if we can nurture them, feed them, educate them, and some of them already are heading for tertiary education, then I don't think you can do much more than that.
That's right. I mean, it's in praying. We need to pray. We need to also help in practical ways as well. It's both, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the street children do have a prayer session, or of course, beautiful. Yeah. So the faith is still there, of course. Yeah.
Because with faith can move mountains.
It will.
It even says that in the Bible.
It's doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad that it's pretty much without any government assistance at all. That's the other hardship. That if you're a government, surely you should be looking after your poor. But they don't seem to worry about it too much.
Yeah, somehow we have to help politicians.
Well,
somehow.
I don't know. Well, I think things change bit by bit. Things have changed in Russia and countries like that, but haven't they?
Yes.
They are not fully communist sort of thing. They've learnt that there are other things that happen in the world.
Well, Mary said that, I think, in Fatima, pray for Russia.
Yeah.
Pray for Russia. She has this great plan for Russia.
Yes.
And things like something's happening. Yeah.
So it's possibly long term. It might be a few more thousand years and it'll all be good. But
hope sooner. We'll have to go to a break now.
Sure.
You're watching Nat Chat. Hope you're enjoying the program. We'll be back with you very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Nat Chat. I'm Mirella Rich. If you've just joined us, we're here with Jeffrey Belville, who is a retired pharmacist and is now trying to raise awareness and finance for the poverty in the Philippines. Welcome back to the program.
Hi again, Mirella.
Now, I was just thinking there might be other businessmen that are retired now from their work and that they want to involve themselves in something. What are some of the things that maybe they can do, and what are some skills you've learned as well through your business that can assist you in helping people less fortunate?
Yes, from personal experience and having spoken to a few other business associates, I think there's a good chance, and I think this is why I want this documentary to be done. I feel that there are probably quite a few business people that have retired and there's an opportunity, through superannuation or other means, perhaps to put a certain amount aside each year that they're not going to need, perhaps. They've covered themselves pretty well, and I think that there would be quite a few people in the business community that sort of wanted that part of their life to be able to contribute to a worthy cause. And no doubt many of them are already doing that sort of thing. So I just feel that this, on top of all the social programs that we've got in Australia, is a particularly demanding one. So I guess my bent is that way. But so I think there's many ways, sort of thing. But I think basically what we will be looking at is hopefully forming as many as 10 or 20 that will go out with the documentary and looking for people. It may be on a personal note. You may know someone and you say, look, Bill, here we are. Would you just have a look at this? And, if you can help. You may go to a school. You may go to a church. You may go to different organisations.
Because it helps when people know how to articulate themselves and speak to the right people. And it's usually well-rounded business people that have learnt these skills through their business that are able actually to make a difference because they know how to articulate themselves and make themselves understood where it's needed.
Certainly. Yeah, no, I think we have to sell it in, sort of thing. I think it's interesting. I mean, our faith is such that we follow Christ. I always think that Christ was one of the best salesmen that there ever was.
Why is that?
Well, he had the greatest product. He went to those that would spread the word. He got them then to pass the word on to the others. So in other words, he had 1, and then he had 12, and then he had 72, and then he went on. So he
was
knew
passionate
how to spread the word until, of course, the big one was Constantine, wasn't it, with the Roman Empire in the year 370, when 15 million became Christian. That was, so when you look at that, I'm sure Christ won't mind me calling him a salesman, but in the context of what he had to sell, all right? Something new, love one another. And I think the same thing is what we've got to do in these areas, sort of thing.
He gave his life, his whole life, all his skills, everything, to put that message out, love one another. How powerful is that message? Really, when you take it on board, you can see real results. When you take that really in your heart and soul and love someone, you will see the results. Not just your own.
That's right.
God and all his angels and saints will be carrying you through it, and you'll see magic happening around you.
Well, hopefully.
No, you do. You see it when you make that decision just to come out of yourself, even a little bit, to step out of your own little comfort zone. Even if it's, seeing someone you can't understand, or you think normally you would judge that person, but choosing not to judge, instead to love, you will see God will push you. He'll give you the wings to carry you. When you make that decision in that light, it's just magic. It's really magic.
I think you feel something special, sort of thing. If you can reach that stage. Most of us like to hang on to,
Sometimes people need a push,
worldly sort of
a little
thing,
push, a shove, or someone's quite severe words to say, come on, this situation needs you to love and not judge. Then you go and do that, and you'll see a huge transformation in your own heart and in the people that you're loving. So it's a huge thing.
So so out of all of this, I think that there are a lot of positives. I think I might have said as before, sort of thing. I think it's very, very important that we develop stronger and stronger relations with these countries. I mean, we're already there, but I think looking to the future, that the Indonesia, the Philippines, New Guinea, Borneo, countries that are really still struggling,
and also somehow to teach them to be able to help themselves as well, because they have the rich there and the poor. So to be able to teach the rich to help the poor there.
Well, that's a hope. I don't know if you can teach someone to actually help the poor. I think it's within you. I think you have to see something. You have to be struck. You have to had a Paul Damascus type situation where you have this enormous wake up sort of thing. Otherwise, you continue in your
pray and fast. I mean, fasting is a most powerful weapon. To help other people. You can't maybe do something, but if you pray and fast for them, you can see powerful changes. That is the most powerful thing. Powerful, really, really powerful. And you don't realise it until you do it, and then you start to see changes around you.
But I think, my greatest moment, I think, was at a boarding school, lying in bed when I was about 12 and things weren't going well at home, and I was miserable, terribly miserable, and I pulled the covers over my head and I was crying in bed, and I was lost. And it just so happened the first 2 or 3 years of my life were spent with my auntie, and she always taught me that if ever I lost anything, then pray to St Anthony, because he'd find it. If you lost a penknife or if you lost a marble or something, St Anthony was a great person. So in this situation, I was lost and I was there. And so I said, "Dear St Anthony, I'm lost. Please help me. Please find me." And never before or since was I enveloped with such a magnificent feeling. I was surrounded by warmth and love and compassion. So
that's beautiful.
That has an enormous effect on, and that makes you think, what about those kids, those street kids that haven't got someone?
Well, we're about to go to a break now. You're watching Nat Chat. Stay with us. We'll be back very shortly. Hello and welcome back to Nat Chat. I'm Mirella Rich. Today our guest, if you've just joined us, is Jeffrey Belville, and he's a retired pharmacist, and he's talking about making awareness and helping out with finances to help in the Philippines, where the poverty is the most badly hit. Welcome back to the program.
Thanks,
Can you tell us a little bit about Missionaries of God's Love, because they're very involved with, they were quite an important help for you.
Well, it's quite refreshing to know that we have an order, an Australian order, that covers both men and women. And I don't think there's been any order established since the days of Mary MacKillop. So this in itself is something quite exciting, important. Father Ken Barker started MGLs back in the early 90s, and now it's grown to, I'm not quite sure of the number, but would be around about 70, right?
Yeah.
Priests and sisters, brothers. So they've established seminaries in Australia, in Melbourne and Canberra, and as a result, seminarians coming from different countries, basically. So from Sri Lanka, from Malaysia, from India, from Philippines, Fiji, so Asian countries, are attending the seminaries. Now, not all of them are going all the way. There is a fairly high attrition rate, sort of thing. But of 50 students that there may be, you'll find that 75% are of Asian background and 25% are Australian.
Right.
So they come together, and here at St Benedict's, this is where I first managed to meet up with them. So the concept is very, very good, because here at St Benedict's we have a standard Australian parish with a presence of a high school, a primary school. We have a youth movement. So there are many factors there that are contributory towards what MGL is all about. And a big part of that is their missionary activity, which initially started in Darwin and then spread to Manila. Last year, Indonesia was established, and I believe they're looking at India. So what we're getting is those that are coming through, getting the Australian experience, flavour. They're training mainly at Catholic Theological College, and then they're going back into their own domain. And I think that's a very, very good. And of course, contact is maintained all the time between the head house here and
so they do quite a lot of missionary work, the Missionaries of God's Love.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's one of their main aims, ideals, and also, of course, very much to work with young people. So there is the opportunity of marrying young people with missionary activity, and this is what has happened, particularly in Manila, with one of the Missionaries of God's Love seminarians here, who over the last 6 or 7 years has taken young people from mainly western suburbs, Broadmeadows and etc. And they've actually worked on site and built houses and repaired roads and done things there.
So literally concrete things.
So yeah, concrete, practical things, you know. these are not highly religious people, but perhaps they see their faith in actually doing things and seeing the situation people.
Because you were mentioning off camera, there were a lot of the people from the western suburbs. They're actually coming in there and they're helping and they're building houses.
Yes, yes.
So it's a great
Yes.
it's a great endorsement for them.
Yes.
And it's a great way for them to fulfil their lives in
Yes.
helping others and
Yeah.
think about what they've got
Yeah.
here in
Yeah.
Australia and what they can give out there.
Yeah, yeah. I think it is within pretty much most of us to want to do something. It's hard to know whether or not you do it in prayer, in money, in physical effort, and it's probably all those or none of those or one of those sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
I think if you pray, like if you pray deeply enough, you'll be inspired to know in your heart, because God speaks to us in our heart what we can do in this world, what we can do to help.
Yeah, there might be a few, people that find it hard to pray. The tough, burly sort of, person that he doesn't know, but he does know that if he does something, for a child, if he could pick that child up and give it some food, sort of thing, that's going to be. That's something, isn't it? So he's giving in his way.
Heart.
Yeah.
That guy that does that, God must have inspired
But that might be his
heart.
prayer as well.
Exactly.
That's his way of praying.
But he's listening to his heart by doing that.
Yeah, yeah.
In that sense, he's listening to his heart because he's feeling like God may be saying, "Come on, help out." He does it.
Yeah.
That's why we can't judge anyone by their appearances or anything, because we don't know what's going on in someone's heart. We really don't.
No.
That's why that's such a beautiful thing that Jesus said: "Do not judge. Judge others, and you'll be judged yourself." You know what it is. Yeah, so I think it's a beautiful thing not to judge others and to just love. Because in the end, we're not going to be asked, what did all these people do to us? What did they do? You're going to be asked, did you love? That's the only thing I asked you to do was love one another. Love your God, love one another.
Yeah, well, I guess, let's face it, we are privileged that we are here. That in itself
and be grateful.
is
thankful.
a miracle.
Yeah.
We're privileged that we're in a land of plenty. We could well have been children in a land of poverty and repression and all past times. So, we're very, very fortunate. So I think we all owe something to help those in need.
And also for our own self, to have our own peace of mind, because you could have everything but have nothing.
That's right.
At the same time, like people, if they don't have faith, but they've got everything material, or they don't even have everything material, but they don't have faith, and they're walking around in the world angry and miserable, but they've got a roof over their head, they've got food coming in, they've got lots of clothes to wear. They don't have to be super wealthy, but they've got the basics, but they're still not happy. Then nothing's going to change them except faith. Faith in God, who is love.
Yeah, and I think seeing how other people are living, sort of thing,
can be a wake-up call.
You bet.
Yeah, a big wake-up call. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come on the program. It's been great to hear what you're doing and all that you're involved with.
All right. Thank you very much.
Beautiful.
Okay.
You've been watching Nat Chat. I'm Mirella Rich, and our guest was Jeffrey Belville. I hope you enjoyed the program. See you again soon.